So hey, remember that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Christmas short film teaser earlier on in the year? Yeah, well it turns out that was actually a short film releasing alongside Spongebob Movie 4 as a little precursor to it, kind of like the old Pixar shorts of old. Now, I reckon all the footage you really got of this short film is like the first 1 minute, so I'll keep this relatively brief if I can. But as you can see visually, the style of TMNT Mutant Mayhem is just such a sight for the eyes that it is real cinema explored, right? It's going for that Spider-Verse effect with a Paramountian flair. And even though this is just a short film on likely a much smaller budget, because it's attached to a feature-length film, it honestly looks pretty imperceptible. This is a great-looking short film is what I'm trying to say. And there's all sorts of micro details I could go on to ramble, whether it's like the smearing camera motion or a red scratchy vignette appearing as like a lens flare from the front of the car lights in just this first scene. But let's talk about the whole thing as a whole. Now, when I first reacted to this trailer, I had an unfortunate thought in the back of my head that I hoped they weren't actually doing with their characters, and I was hoping instead that this would be full commentary on a bigger picture, and I'm delighted to tell you that this short film is indeed all about AI, and in the good way as well. We've been doing relatively weekly releases about the latest generative AI news as it sweeps through animation, a big middle finger to the creative arts, and one that I'm very anti on all fronts. So when I suddenly heard that one of the turtles talks about how they use ChatGPT, I thought, man, this is a nice modern twang for a young teenage character representation, and also such a terrible idea. I also originally thought that this was the voice of the smart one, which was even worse. Turns out it's the voice of one of the dumber ones, so it's fine. But it turns out that wasn't just a throwaway line in order to be down with the kids. This whole short is about the rise of AI and this studio's stance on it. I certainly hope so anyway. It could be ironic very quickly, but we'll see. Because it's not only the fact that one of the turtles uses ChatGPT, but there is a villain in this story whose acronym for their corporation is literally AI. It's all about Chrome Dome here and how he's using the turtles' likenesses to sell merchandise. It is literally the AI scraping of IP and profiting off of the works of other people, to which the turtles smash into their little warehouse and fight against them directly. It is a giant, blocky robot guy. Oh, but one other thing before we get to the actual fight scene, they then go on to do a great parody monologue about the ripping off of likenesses as Chrome Dome comes out with his own villainous origin story, whereby he just mashes together every superhero story you've heard, changing it enough to not be legally copyright infringement. His name is Clark Kenter. He was bitten by a radioactive robot. He built his body from a box of scraps in a dungeon, all the while meeting a purple alien with a hand gauntlet that has a thing for killing half the population. You know, you see what they're doing there. I don't remember exactly the words. Again, it was just like an 8-minute short, and I saw it once before a bigger, brain invasive movie. But it very much was a nice joke on just all of the superhero parodies that it's referencing, and being commentary of that kind of learning machine algorithm of inhaling and inhaling. And I guess talking a little bit about how you can defeat AI by it having to feed on its own terrible source material, in some sort of sense. The kicker is, because it is an AI, it has learned all of their moves and it is unbeatable to them because it has scraped all of the learning and knowledge off of it. Even though all it said it did was Google them and find images of them. The choreography of this fight, of course, absolutely immaculate. I'll have to watch it several times to understand every little detail that happened. Not only is there 4 different weapons flying in all sorts of directions, but the motion blur and the scratchiness of the art style only makes it all the better in every regard. To which one of the early lines in the first scene then ends up being the finale survival moment at the end. Spoilers, by the way, for a short film. Hey there, they can make it to the halfway mark of a short review on a short film. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie reviews. Chances are this is the last one of the year, so I'll see you in the next one. On this playlist, anyway. 10 days left in the month means like 8 videos left in the year. The end, spoilers by the way for a short film, whereby they say an AI is only as good as its prompts, so they start inventing terrible moves to make the robot do terrible moves to self-destruct itself. Including having, I think, Donatello, I'm colorblind, I can't tell the difference between them, shoving his own arms into his shell, which ultimately breaks the robot entirely. It is a nice, simple action sequence with a little bit of brainwaves going in there. If I'd watched it again, I could probably notice the individual personalities actually on show, which I'm sure an animation of this quality absolutely kept up with. All I noticed is Raphael ran in and then got trounced immediately. But I'm sure each of the 4 do their own unique things. And then to wrap it all up, the one that was using ChatGPT goes on to delete their app, and they outright just say, AI sucks, in a relatable, nice, simple, and natural way, and they get on with their day. And then to wrap it all together, of course, this is a Christmas and winter season story, so while it is all about fighting AI as a literal embodiment with this villain, it's also meant to hit the, not exactly emotional heartstrings, but some of the chords of Christmas, as the original problem that the Turtles had was coming up with a present for Stryker. Stryker? Is that their villain? God, I don't know TMNT. Splinter! Totally different. Master Splinter. I should have known that. Epic rap battles of history should have made me learn that. Master Splinter? Ain't here, dude! Anyway, ignore me. I have a weird insert to remember this universe. Anyway, it starts off with a very ugly mug that they keep laughing about in the trailer and in the first scene of the short, and then they wrap it around with, hey, maybe we're not gonna get anything like these AI sloppy toys. Let's go and give him that ugly mug. The 4 of them then also choose to get him the same mug, as in they all share the one present, only to reveal that the rat themselves got them the horrible likeness knockoffs of each other. A little bit of commentary that the older generation are falling for AI and maybe should be warded off of it, or you can just secretly bin it whenever something like that pops up. God, there's gonna be a sad Christmas if people are getting AI presents from everybody. I can see it now. Someone's gonna get a canvas print of their face shoved onto a business suit to be like, hey, look, it's your professional headshot. Oh, don't you love when art makes you talk about real life? Anyway, it's very sweet and humble. Rat Dad is asleep on the couch, and then in a little screenshot in the credits, you see him comfortably slurping on this terrible rat mug. It's just that beautiful sense of wholesome Christmas spirit, and weirdly enough, ironically, real humanity in there too. And for just like a few minutes before what is yet again a relatively terrible Spongebob movie, it is just a breath of fresh air and proof that Paramount can do something functionally well, because the TMNT's visuals and art style and creative direction and choreography and animation is just absolutely stellar. Great short film, would highly recommend. I know a lot of people weren't really that bothered about it when it first showed up as a trailer, but I would recommend it if you can find a way to see it, especially by itself. You don't have to watch SpongeBob swinging his intestines around to see this thing. I hope not one day. But either way, very high praises. Would love to see more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially this universe stuff. For now, though, I'd best finally end it off there. It was just a cheeky little review of a short film before a long film. For now, my name's been Dazz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts if you got around to seeing this little TMNT short. Are there any Easter eggs and details I missed? Chances are yes, because I don't know this franchise that well. Love to hear all of your thoughts and more, or any dissections you may have. But otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!